What's up guys, Ben here bringing you another video today. Listen, I'm recording this on the 29th of August and we gotta talk about what happened last night. So I've been avoiding kind of talking about this whole Warzone versus CDL Pro thing because I thought it was just some dumb Twitter drama that people are just trying to get clicks and views and all that jazz, but it escalated last night. There's now a tournament. Let's talk about it and what I think it means for the scene. So basically late last night, so if you were on like work hours, real people hours, you probably didn't catch this. And I'm sure highlights will be up on ZooMaa's YouTube, my duo, shortly. But basically there were a bunch of 1v1s that went down last night. First up, you had Biffle versus Methodz. Methodz actually won the first map and then lost the next two. And from there, it all escalated to chaos. My boy Tommy came out of retirement, probably like half off the Papania, and beat Aydan on one map. Scrappy actually took care of business against Aydan and talked his smoke as you would expect. And then Aydan returned the favor against Dante, who has been participating in this debate quite a bit over the last week or so. And then following that up, if you guys don't know who King of Body is, he's this really sick Middle East player that does a lot of 1v1s. He beat like a BZ last year on Nuketown. There was also a 1v1 last night between Scrappy and one of his friends that Scrappy was able to clutch up. Look, the long moral of this is I don't really think 1v1s really count for that much, but it escalated enough where there was some beef on Twitter. You got Aydan celebrating his victory over Dante, and you got Aydan seeking as well, saying DiazBiffle beat Methodz in a 1v1 of pure gun skill. It doesn't prove that Warzone players better than CDL players, and I don't know what does. Which is definitely not being serious. Aydan's definitely out here for the clicks. Zin also had his thoughts as well on what went down last night, taking a little page out of Don aka Temp's playbook with the cheese tweet. Honestly, I think Rambo's tweet basically sums it up here. Like, look, radar on 1v1s are obviously there's a little bit of skill and timing and sort of gamesmanship and all that, but I don't know if it's, you know, a true determination of skill. Obviously Call of Duty, same with Warzone as well. CDL and Warzone are both games where teamwork's important, so 1v1s are, you know, they're fun to watch, but it's not gonna be your determiner of who's actually gonna be good. Anyway, the escalation on this last night was Davis basically lost composure, and as Optic Hitch does when these things happen, he puts his money where his mouth is, throws a tournament. So looks like on Thursday we are gonna get a CDL versus Warzone tournament with 10K on the line, 8 teams of 4v4, and I actually really like this from him. I think the game mode choice is actually pretty cool. So you're gonna have a mix of multiplayer and Caldera. Not really sure why we're playing Modern Warfare, but I believe that's probably like a little bit more fair to the Warzone players in terms of what they play based on Warzone. And if you're curious what the odd man format is, because I don't know if a lot of people watch them in tournaments, this is basically a descriptor of it. 2 players in each team drop in a Caldera, combined kills at the end, you get a winner, so on and so forth. I basically think a lot of these series are probably going to come down to 5 games, and then we'll have an MW search for it all. I'm actually curious at how host is going to work, but whatever. I'll leave that to Davis to figure out all the rules on this one. Look, kind of my thing on this is like, I'm like kind of lost in like where this debate went, honestly. Like, are we debating if CDL players can go and play Warzone and play well, or can Warzone players come and play CDL well? Or are we arguing both? Because at this point, I'm just super confused. And look, again, I get it. People are doing this for interactions. There's a lot of banter. Everybody's bored because it's the end of August. The beta's not out for a couple more weeks. The actual game's not out for almost 2 months. So people need something to do. I just feel like the answer is kind of obvious on this one if you think about it. Look, at the end of the day, Warzone or CDL, bro, these are all talented gamers. But if it's not a game mode that you play a lot, or a mode that you play a lot, or in the case of Warzone players, like learning how to play structured team Call of Duty, or in the case of CDL pros, like getting into Warzone and knowing how to make right decisions on the map, even if you're playing like a kill race or you're playing customs, like it's gonna take time to get good and comfortable with those game modes, and then you can kind of decide who's the best at that point. I think probably like out of the box, if we had to be straight up about this, I'm sure CDL players is a little bit easier for them to go to Warzone and probably learn that format, because look, if you look at the top Warzone earnings right here, yes, you've got a lot of really good sort of players that are known for playing Warzone on this list, but I look at it and I see a couple of ex-CDL pros on here, right? Especially your UK guys like Tommy and Rated, like they came over and they've been part of some of the better duos and trios in Warzone since the start. So I would say it's probably easier to go from CDL to Warzone. But I also think guys like Biffle, bro, if Biffle went and grinded, you know, S&D challenge for a year, respawn challenge for a year, I think he'd probably be good enough to get on a team. Y'all might disagree. It's the same thing that happens all the time. There's a little bit of sort of gatekeeping on this one. But if we saw anything from last night, like Biffle's got good gun skill. He's still got to learn all the teammate aspect, the communication, the positioning, how to space yourself on the mini map. But if he can get that down, like I think he could be a good CDL player. So yeah, anyway, I just think this whole debate's kind of stupid, but look, we're doing it for the people. We're doing it for the interactions. I'm very curious what happens on Thursday. Like y'all might roast this team, but Apathy and Slack play a lot of Warzone. They definitely know how how to play Call of Duty, so this team might actually not be too bad unless they have to play another CDL team. I also love to see if like we can get like a Celium, a BZ, Shotzi, some kind of like cracked top players for the last 3 or 4 years sort of team to ride out. Some of those guys also set Warzone records in the beginning of Warzone, but we know they'd be nasty at Hardpoint and S&D. So very curious what 8 teams are going to be there. I'm probably going to be there casting this one, so I'm really excited to see what goes down on Thursday. One more thing as well, beyond just the tournament this week, and I'm sure all of the stuff that will happen in the weekend after, even the following week before the beta comes out, we're going to have the finals of the World Series of Warzone for this year in both EU and NA with the trios format. Decent prize money on the line. As always, I kind of expect some CDL based teams in here with some CDL players. So I think this Warzone versus CDL thing is going to continue into next week at least. So yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. I'm sure y'all have a lot of feelings on this one. I'm sure I pissed off a few people in the Warzone community, the CDL community, but whatever, that's how these things go. Who do you think wins this one? CDL pros, Warzone pros? We'll have more coverage for this later in this week as this tournament actually happens. As always, guys, if you like the video, smash that like button. And if you like my content, please subscribe. We're going to keep pumping out more of this content over the coming weeks. Interview show is starting soon, so I'm excited for that. Be on the lookout for news coming this week on that. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one.